Hello, beautiful soul family. Thanks so much for joining me today for Angel Messages on Unmasked Universe, where we unmask the universe that lives inside of you. I'm so happy that you're here today, and I just wanted to extend a heartfelt thank you for all of you who are new to the channel, who have subscribed, and to all of my previous subscribers. I just wanted to let you know that I'm super grateful for each and every one of you for building this community together. I'm really excited as it grows bigger and bigger every day. It's enlivening me in different ways that allow me to share different parts of myself, such as these angel messages. And I'm getting a lot of energy in return from you being here, a lot of joy in just being able to share this with you and be with you, spend time together. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I love each and every one of you. So we're going to go and get ahead or get go ahead and get into our crystal for the day. And our crystal is chrysocolla. I can't talk today. Chrysocolla. I even took a break and I had something to eat and I felt a lot better, but I'm a little bit tongue tied at the moment. So chrysocolla, it's really beautiful. Um, this is a pendant. Actually, my son found this on the ground, and I had never seen it before. It was a new crystal to me. And when crystals find you, then they're the best ones for you. But immediately he wanted to give it to me because he knew I needed it. He's very intuitive too. And I was very touched, and I really love it. So I was drawn to this one today to share this with all of you. So we'll see what's in here. So chrysocolla is a tranquil and sustaining stone. It helps meditation and communication. Within the home, chrysocolla draws off negative energies of all kinds. It can help you accept with serenity situations that are constantly changing, invoking great inner strength. It is beneficial to relationships that have become rocky, um, stabilizing and healing both the home and personal interaction. Chrysocolla calms, cleanses, and re energizes all the chakras and aligns them with the divine. At the solar plexus chakra, it draws out negative emotion such as guilt and reverses destructive emotional programming. At the heart, it heals heartache and increases the capacity to love. At the throat, it improves communication but helps you to discern when to keep silent. At the third eye, it opens psychic vision. Psychologically, chrysocolla encourages self awareness and inner balance and imparts confidence and sensitivity. It enhances personal power and inspires creativity. Overcoming phobias, it draws out negativity and supplies motivation for those who lack it. Mentally, chrysocolla reduces mental tension and helps you to keep a cool head. It promotes truth telling and impartiality. Emotionally, chrysocolla alleviates guilt and brings in joy. Ah, interesting. Okay, so that is our crystal for the day. Okay, so let's tippy tap in and get some energy going for today. We'll tap into the collective. And I tap into the collective's guardian angels. And I ask that you please provide us with the most important messages for the collective today. What is it that they need to know most? Please and thank you, angels. What messages does the collective need to hear most today on Monday, January 20th? Thank you. Let's do. What messages does the collective need to hear most for January 20th, Monday? Ooh, that one did not want to go in. And there's the last one. All right. Okay, so in order here. Okay, so the first card we have is Security, angel number 646. Work hard and stay disciplined to unlock a happy, wealthy, and successful life. Your guardian angels are here to help. Angel number 345, Transition. You are in a period of transition and change. Embrace new beginnings and trust in the process of transformation unfolding in your life. Okay, and then we have self-love, angel number 676. Prioritize your well-being and cultivate a deep sense of love and compassion for yourself. And then we have abundance, angel number 888. Financial abundance and success are on the horizon. Stay focused and disciplined. Okay, so this one is security. See if it wants to focus up close here. Nope, I almost had it. There. Okay. Oh, no, it focused on me now. Ah, that was my bad. Come on, camera. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so why don't we get an angel number from the book? Tap into all of your energy here. Tap to the collective energy and the collective guardian angels, and I ask you to let me know when to stop in this book. Okay, now let me know when to stop moving. Evolved beliefs. Angel number 704. Establish new intentions. Creating new intentions that reflect your evolved beliefs is what your angels encourage you to do today. Write down an intention that involves an intangible value you hold dear. Put the paper somewhere you can see it often and speak it out loud under the stars during the next new moon. When is the new moon? I don't have my phone in here. It's not for a bit, I think. So we just had the full moon on the 16th, so, or the 13th. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, not for a little bit yet. So, okay. Evolved beliefs, establish new intentions. All right, so I'm just going to take a moment here to get a reading on what they're trying to say here. All right. So for some of you, I'm picking up on this thread of these new these new intentions that you're going to be creating. Um, there's some questions that you need to ask yourself because for some of you, you're being called into a position of um, being in service to humanity and doing something that you're being called to do in order to lift up the rest of the world, right? In one way or another. That could be any number of things, right? But for some of you, you're being called into that position right now, and your belief systems have changed and evolved, and you're being asked to reflect on um, what that position entails and to let go of the aspect of the abundance itself, right? So when we get into these positions that we're called into, abundance will come, but you'll be guided as to when and how. And often, and I made this mistake too, often we get so wrapped up in the programming of the 3D, right? Constructs that we've all been raised in that, oh my gosh, like I need to make money right now, right now. And so we push it out into the universe with that intention at some point. And then what that brings us is nothing. And that's because our intention, and I didn't go straight off the bat doing that, but I got inspired to, start up a business on the side doing that. And what I was shown and told was that when you put the focus on the abundance itself, instead of um, the role that you're being called into fulfilling, instead of the joy in the process of whatever abundance the joy in the process of getting there and the joy in living day to day, like evolving on your path. Instead of putting joy into that, because we could be stuck in scarcity mindset, and I can tell you I was at that time. Um, we actually put too much emphasis and energy into the wrong thing. And now, what Source says, and this is said in many Bibles across religions, is that when you fulfill your devotion to Source, then that your cup will be filled. Your cup will runneth over. You will be taken care of by Source, right? And I can't quote the words exactly because I don't have the Bible here in front of me, but I did grow up in a Catholic religion, and so I do remember some of that being said, and maybe those aren't the exact words. So if you have the exact words, please feel free to put it in the comments and share with the community. But as long as you stay true to your path and to what you're being asked to do and called to do, that you will be taken care of. But that does not also mean that you don't have to do any work. You can't just be like, oh, I manifest this and I do my dreams. You know, this is my dream and I'm just going to say it out loud and then it's all going to be dropped in my lap. No, that's not at all it. Um, that is part of it for sure. But that's not the whole thing. And so I think you're being asked for whomever this is resonating with. This is more of a specific few of you, not all of you, but for some of you, you're being asked to evaluate where you're putting your energy. Are you putting it into creating a business that is spiritually aligned, but the intention is to get money? Or are you putting your energy into creating a heart-centered company that, or position for yourself that fulfills not only your role, but makes you really happy, brings you joy, brings you closer to source, brings you into alignment with yourself? Like those are two different value systems. And so it does touch base here on what you value and hold dear. And so, what do you value most? Because when we are getting into these states of creating our abundance and creating what's in alignment for us, it does have to be in alignment for us. So that goes back to our value system, and this can apply across the board for all of you. It has to go and be in alignment with our core values and our value system, our ethics, our morals, our integrity. And if the focus is on something that is not aligned with that, then you're not going to make yourself a vibrational match to it. So instead, focus on what brings you joy, what brings you love, what brings you peace, what makes you feel good. It could even be as simple as, like, some people find their calling in becoming very fit and teaching how to get fit, right? So that fulfills an aspect of your soul and your body, and it could fulfill any aspect of you. But if it's not in alignment with your core values and you're putting all of the emphasis on the abundance itself rather than what you already have, which is within you, which is what you're creating from, then you're just trying to create something out of lack, and then you only get lack back, if that makes more sense. For others of you, and that again, that last section can apply across the board. For others of you, like, I am picking up this sense of um, not really knowing who you are necessarily anymore. Because after we wipe slates clean and we go through transition periods, especially 7-year cycles, we go through big transitions in our life, which I'm seeing transition. Um, we may not really know who we are anymore and what we actually desire and what we love. And some of you, I feel, are feeling a little bit lost and not knowing who you are. And understand that's perfectly normal. The whole reason for these shifts, these 7-year cycles, and, like, massive shifts within us, is to awaken us, is to bring us back to ourselves. And sometimes that means wiping the slate completely clear. For some of you, it could just be your career. For some of you, it could be family related. It could be friend related. It could be your interests. It could be a partner. It could be just about anything, or it could be all of it. And so when your slate is completely clear, or you leave some sort of dynamic, or like even retiring, you leave some sort of dynamic that you've been in for a very long time, that could leave you with this sense of not knowing who you are, not knowing what motivates you anymore, maybe feeling like you've lost motivation because that's all you knew. You invested all of your time and energy into one thing. That's like putting all your eggs in one basket. And then when you leave, you're lost. And so for some of you, I'm getting this feeling like this transition has been a little bit heart-wrenching, a little bit difficult, because you're feeling like you don't know who you are anymore. And so when you're feeling this way, it's really important to put an emphasis on doubling down on that self-love, directing it back at you, and slowly but surely picking away at different things to see what you actually do love. It's okay if you don't know who you are anymore. It's okay if, you know, your past versions of self decided to invest too much into a situation for too long, and you don't know who you are anymore. You don't know what brings you joy anymore because so much time may have gone by. Could have even been more than 7 years, could have been 14, you could have been a lot longer, right? So, this is now the time that, through the self love journey, through taking care of yourself, you're going to find that you can experiment because you have a clean slate now. You can experiment and see what it is that you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And understand that's perfectly okay. And you're not the only one who's going through that. Many people right now are going through that because many of us have just come out of long, long cycles. And many of us have overinvested or overgiven of our time and energy to sometimes bottomless pits where there was no return. And it's perfectly normal to have feelings about that. It's perfectly normal to feel like you wasted all that time for nothing, but you didn't. And this is another aspect of the abundance that comes from this situation. For those of you who are resonating with this, the abundance is in what you got out of that situation. And that can be a number of things. Even if the situation did not give you a physical return, even if it completely depleted you or took from you in any way, shape, or form, it was not a waste of your time. It was a life lesson and an accumulation in a long cycle. It was an accumulation and mastery of lessons, which you, once you tap into that abundance and wealth of knowledge and the lessons that you've learned and taken from that, you will then be able to share that with other people in your own way. And so nothing is ever lost. Nothing is ever wasted. In fact, we need to change our perspective on that and look at it as a success rather than a failure. And in that situation, the success comes from the idea of, did you master the lessons? How many of them did you master? How far have you come from the beginning of that relationship to where you are now? How far have you come down that path? How much have you learned? How much have you learned about yourself? Did you master any of the lessons that you came here on earth to learn and master? These are things that you're being asked to look at and reflect on and see that the abundance is already there. It's just within you. And it's time for you people who are registering or resonating, I should say, resonating with this message. It's time for you people there to, because I know there's a few threads here. So for whomever is resonating with this, it's time for you to see the gift that this truly brought you instead of looking at it from the lens of hurt and pain. And that again too is a natural part of the grieving and like the grieving and loss process, right? When we lose something or we're grieving something, then that's only normal to have those emotions. But the angels are now saying that you have gone through this transition and it's okay to have those emotions, but perhaps now it's time to change how you view it so that you can receive all of the blessings from it. And by doing that, you actually level yourself up into a new paradigm, into a new way of being, and you free and liberate yourself. Because once we can shed that pain and the stories that are associated with that, then we actually liberate ourselves and we see everything from a different perspective and a higher vantage point. Now, for others of you, I don't know if there's one or maybe two of you out there, but somebody out there, I get another thread from this, and I feel as though there's somebody out there who is facing issues around security. Um, it does feel home related, so perhaps you're facing an eviction or you may not have enough to pay the rent next month. There's something around a home, or maybe not even having a home right now. Um, but I'm seeing transitions, so it feels more like, this is a period of time where you're facing the threat of possibly not having a home. And so for you, whomever it is that I'm speaking to, this is the tipping point for you. And I'm getting goosebumps because we all face something similar, just in different ways. And I know it's scary. I can feel like I feel like crying right now because I can feel to whomever this is, it's overwhelming you. I can feel that. Um, know that this transition is the very beginning point of the second phase of the alchemical process. And it's the one where everything has to fall apart in order for you to come to the place where you find that connection with source. And each one of us has to reach our breaking point at some point. And it's not easy, but we need to, because it's there. It's there in that moment that we find source. And we realize that source never left us. And you will feel like you were abandoned in this point. In your darkest hours, oh, goosebumps. In your darkest hours, you will feel like all hope is gone and that you are alone and you walk alone and you've been abandoned. And it's in those moments that you will come back to yourself and you will come back to source. And this transition is temporary. It's based, though, on how long you choose to stay in that cycle of feeling abandoned and feeling alone. And when you finally decide enough is enough, you don't want to live this way anymore, that's when you come back to source and you come back to yourself and you realize that you weren't alone and that your spirit team is there, your ancestors, past away loved ones, ancestors from your whole lineage have always been there. These are the moments when you break, and I hate to put it that way because it sounds terrible, but this is the process. When we break is when we are the closest to God and we can hear or sense or feel something that is not us. And often is the case that we receive some sort of confirmation to let us know that we're not alone. And that will give you the motivation to do whatever you have to do in order to get yourself through that and elevate yourself in some way, shape, or form. And so for whomever this is, it's really important that as you go through this transition, if you do face homelessness, that you don't forget your way. It's really easy to forget your way and to lose your place. We get lost in these situations sometimes, and it's so hard to climb back out of the darkness, depression and anxiety and fear and all of the things that we have to face in the scariest moments of our lives can really cloud our judgment and really make it difficult to find our way out of these situations. But don't forget, don't forget who you are. You are a divine child of God. And as such, you are divinely guided and looked after. Now, does that mean that you can just walk around with a halo on your head and say, I'm safe? No, no. When you're in environments and situations that have threats around you, that pose threats to you, you still have to look out for yourself. But don't forget to love yourself and don't forget that even in the darkness, you're not alone. And you are receiving guidance, whether you can hear it or not at that point, to move back into the light, to move back into your heart despite the heartbreak. So, for whomever that is, I think that right now, if this is quite a possibility that this is going to happen to you, with your already evolved beliefs, it is important for you to set the intentions for specific phases and put into motion some sort of plan and maybe a miracle or two, because the divine works through us all. And now that doesn't mean that somebody's going to rescue you, because if you're in this position, it is because you may have relied on other people for too long to provide for you. And I'm just being blunt and honest because I have been there myself. I had codependency issues, and I have been on the streets. I have had a lot of things happen to me, and I understand. So if you're in this position, Source is just trying to teach you how strong you really are and how capable and resilient you actually are. You are unbreakable. And it's by getting through this process and learning how to be independent, like hyper independent at that point in early stages like this. Hyper independence will form from that. And that's what will carry you through into the next higher levels of your own life and your own journey. But at this point, you need to learn how to become self reliant. And only you can do that. You can't be rescued by somebody and learn a lesson. Only you can do this for yourself, but you have to stay true to yourself and love yourself enough to do it. And it's going to be hard. And there's going to be moments where you feel like you're breaking apart completely. But inevitably, if you keep putting one foot in front of the other and you look for resources and you look for support and ways of maybe finding work, doing whatever you can to either avoid the situation or to get out of the situation and not rely on handouts. I mean, there may be supports that can help you, but you shouldn't rely on that solely. So, this is for whomever this is resonating with, this is where you're at. And this could resonate with other people as well. Maybe not to the full extreme, but maybe you don't have enough income and you're busting your butt and you're doing everything you can just to put some food maybe on the table, but you know, maybe it's not enough in your eyes. Maybe your kids are still hungry at the end of the day. Maybe you're going without a meal. Whatever the case, whatever it is which, is creating this lack of security within you, the abundance is already within you. And so it's so easy to get swept up in these feelings around lack that we forget that everything is already there. We just need to believe it. And we need to change how we actually view the world, but how our energy is being sent out and projected. Because half of it is the fact that we're sending out this energy that is bringing back what we're asking for on an energetic level, not on a mental level, because clearly nobody wants to live in that state. Nobody. Nobody wants to be hungry. Nobody wants to worry about whether or not they're going to have a roof over their head tomorrow, or heat in their house, or, any number of things, or even a house. Nobody wants to live that way. But if our thoughts are sending it out that this is what we want, and that is in confliction with what our energy is sending out because we are unhealed in certain areas of ourselves, then this is what we get back. We get back the energy that we put out there, not the thoughts, not the words, but if the thoughts and the words are in alignment with the energy itself, that's what we get back. We get back our energy. We can reinforce it with the thoughts and the words. Absolutely. And we can bring it in faster. But if our energy is not in alignment with that, due to all these old programs and outdated beliefs about how money works, about how society works, then we're never going to get out of that. If we're operating from a very wounded state, then we're never going to get out of that, you know? we will keep bringing into our environment the exact same situations. Or if we operate from places where we're asking for handouts and never putting in the effort to do anything, and I'm not saying that you don't put any effort in because I put in a lot of effort, just I was carrying the burdens of everybody else and not working, right? I was a stay-at-home mom, but I also centered the lives of everyone, including my partner, including my family members. I took on my shoulders everyone's emotional and physical and mental everything burdens. And so I was working hard nonstop and sleeping 3 hours a day, but I wasn't getting paid for it. And so what I needed to learn was hyper independence and how to actually get paid for it as well. So your time should be reciprocated as well. And it could be a situation like that. So I'm not judging, okay? And I'm not saying you don't do anything, but that we all come here for certain lessons. And so based on what I'm seeing here, there are three different threads here happening, and maybe even a fourth one here. Um, but really what I'm seeing is that a lot of it is around old, outdated, and limiting beliefs on how things work and what needs to be reattuned. Because, our mind, like our belief system, and the way that we think the world works needs to transition along with us. And I said this in the last video that alignment isn't just one thing. It's not just spirituality. It's not just the physical body. It's not just your beliefs. It's not just your emotional regulation and being grounded. It's a whole thing from source down to the earth. It's every aspect of our being. And so if one part of us is updated, but we forget to eliminate all the old programming or the limiting beliefs, then that's where we get stuck and we can't move. And then we get mad or we get frustrated or we get ourselves in positions that are going to teach us the lesson. And these are just opportunities for you to learn and master the lesson because you didn't really understand it before. So the universe is going to give you a different option and show you a different way of maybe reinforcing the lesson so that you understand it. And so it's not to punish you, it's that the previous ways that the universe or source was trying to teach you, you weren't getting. And that happens all the time. Repeat learner. I had to repeat many things to learn it. And I'm also pretty stubborn. So, but I also do like to master things I found out. So I like to go back in. I'm hardcore. So, don't feel bad about it if that is what is happening to you. If you're repeating a cycle or you're repeating a lesson or you're having to learn the hard way, oh my gosh, I cannot even tell you how many of us have had to do that. So it's not a punishment. And this is where the self-love comes in, is to anytime you feel like you're being punished, and we all do in the darkest periods, we're just like, why are you doing this to me? I'm abandoned. It's normal. That's our human conditioning and programming, right? To project our pain elsewhere rather than own it and take responsibility for it. This is where the self-love has to come in. You may spew a bunch of negativity out of your mouth and misdirect your feelings at source or the universe or your creator, but ultimately, you'll come back to self-love realizing that that was all yours to own, not sources. You're the one living your life here. Source is just living through your image to experience the life and the decisions that you make and how you learn and the process in which you learn. So ultimately, it's about taking responsibility for your life, for your decisions and your behaviors, and whether or not you choose to move on, up or down or back. That's up to you. Okay, so this is where I feel called to end this session here. Hopefully, you got something out of this and it resonated with one of you or all of you in different ways. Um, don't force it to fit if it didn't resonate with you. I do want to mention that if parts of it resonated, take that. If other parts did not resonate, dump it. It's somebody else's message. Okay, so don't ever force any reading to fit you. Um, take what works and leave the rest. Okay. I love you all so much. I hope you have an amazing day. My heart goes out to all of you. And if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe and welcome. Thank you to all of my returning subscribers. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye bye.